Hi, my name is Edwin, and I'm a Senior Technical Solutions Engineer. Welcome to eFileMyForms.com. In this video, I'll be going over how to add and edit a filer, how to add and edit a recipient, how to start a manual file entry, how to import forms from Excel, and how to place an order. You should be able to go through all the timestamps on this video to fast forward to any one of these sections if you want to go over this video multiple times, and just skip ahead to whatever section you want to. If you're also watching this on YouTube, there will be timestamps on the description below. Just click to expand it and you should be able to click onto the timestamps to fast forward directly to those sections. Welcome to eFileMyForms.com. At the homepage, you'll be asked to log in with your email and password. If you do not already have an account, you can go ahead and sign up for free. There's no credit card required to sign up for an account. You will only be asked for a credit card once you've completed all your forms and you are ready to check out and file your records. Creating an account requires a first name, a last name, email address, and a 7-character password. You will at least need 7 characters minimum, 1 lowercase letter, 1 uppercase letter, 1 number, and do not use a less than or greater than characters. Go ahead and confirm that password again, and you can also check in the box here to sign up for emails for important tax news and filing reminders. This will go to the email address that you've provided above, and once you've done that, go ahead and click Create Account. It'll tell you in green here that your account has been created and you can log in and start filing, which will then you have to add your email account address and password and log in. Once logged in, you'll be brought to the home screen. This home screen can always be found by clicking Home on the top left menu bar. At this home screen, you'll be presented with all the forms that are in progress. Since this is a new account, there is no forms here. Before we can get started adding records, we will need filer information. To add new filer information, go to Filers on the top menu bar. At this section is the Manage Filers. Here, you'll find all your filer information that you've already entered. In this case, this is a brand new account. We're going to go ahead and add a new filer. In this guide, I will be using sample information. When creating your own filer, make sure to enter your own information. While you're entering all the filer information, the blue fields are the required fields. You must fill those out before you can move forward and save this filer. When entering the TIN number, do not use any dashes, as you can indicate the TIN type with the radio button above. When you arrive at the department contact portion, there is a department code. You may not have a department code, but this is a required field. If you do not have one, you can make one up. So in this sample, I'm going to go ahead and use demo 001 as my department code. Also note that the state ID number is not in blue, which is not a required field. But if you are filing withholding in your state, you may be required to enter the state ID numbers here. Once you've saved your filer, you will be back at this list. Again, you can find this by clicking on Filers on the top menu bar, which will bring you to the Manage Filer section, and you have everything listed here. Now, to select that filer, the radio button on the left will be highlighted in blue. To edit this, you can go ahead and click on Edit Selected Filer to change any information or add information to this filer record. Before you can add a new record, you must have existing filers in your filer list, as well as recipients in your recipients list. To add a recipient, click on Recipients on the top menu bar. From here, you'll be sent to the Manage Recipients list. On the top menu drop-down list, you'll have a list of your filers that you've created earlier. Select the correct filer you would like to add recipients to. Adding new recipients will only apply to the filer you selected above. Go ahead and click Add New Recipient and fill in the information. All the blue fields are required information that needs to be filled in each field before you can save and move forward. Also, keep in mind that I'm using sample information here. Enter your own appropriate information for your recipients. If you're adding an individual, use the first name and last name for the individual. If you're filing or creating a recipient for a company, only use the company last field, which is a required field. And click Save on the bottom right. Once saved, you will have a list updated of all your recipients. To edit a recipient, go to the recipient list. From here, you have to select from the drop-down list above which filer you'd like to edit and which for recipients. I will go ahead and select the sampler filer here. And the radio buttons on the left-hand side of each recipient on the list is how you select it. So I will select the first one and click Edit Recipient. From here, you can then make necessary changes you'd like to make to the recipient and click Save on the bottom right. As a reminder, adding new recipients will only apply to the filer selected. If you would like to copy over an existing recipient to another filer, on the right-hand side, check the box under Copy Recipients. If you choose the top one, all boxes will be checked. If you'd like only individuals, just check each box for the appropriate recipient you want to copy over. Make sure on the top drop-down list you have the correct filer you'd like to select the copy from, and at the bottom, select the filer you'd like to copy to. Once all has been selected, click Copy Recipients, and you'll get asked at the very top, would you like to clone these recipients? Which you say, okay, and you have a confirmation afterwards that recipients have been copied successfully. Now, once I go to that other filer, you'll see that everything has been copied over. How to start a manual filing entry, or how to create a new form. To start a manual filing entry, click on Add New Form on the top right. Alternatively, if you do not have any forms in progress and you are at the home screen, you will be able to select the tax forms here and start a new record as well. Let's go ahead and click on Add New Form on the top right. This will take you to the Start a New Filing page. From here, the current tax year will be the first tax year that's going to be selected as a default. You can, though, click on the tabs here to select prior year tax forms if you'd like to file a prior year form. The most popular forms will already be expanded in this section. This includes the 1099 NEC, the ACA 1095B and 1095C, the 1099 Miscellaneous, and W-2. If you'd like to file another form, expand to other categories to see more options such as the 1099 form series, 1042S, 1098, 5498, and W-2GG forms, federally tax-exempt state interest forms, and the California 592. Let's go ahead and click on 1099 NEC. When you select the tax form, you'll be asked to enter or select a filer to add to the form. To do so, click on the radio buttons on the left to select the correct filer you want to add to this record. Then hit Continue on the top right. Next, once you selected a filer, it will bring you to the recipients for that filer to select. You will also click on the left radio button to select which recipient you want to add to this record. Click on Continue on the right. Once the filer and the recipient is selected, you will have both the filer and the recipient information already provided onto the record. And all that is left is for you to enter the fields for the reportable fields that you'd like to enter. And then click Save Form on the top right or bottom right of the form. Once you've saved the record, you will be brought back to the home screen, and the new form that you've entered will be listed below. How to import forms from Excel. To get started, click on New Import on the top menu bar. You'll be brought to the Import Forms section. You'll notice at the very top, the current tax year will be selected. In this case, it's 2023. If you'd like to select or import prior tax forms, you just select the tax year and it'll bring you to those tax year forms. You'll see that as we go further back, some forms are not available as they were not introduced yet. Let's go back to 2023, and you see the list of forms above is popular forms will have the NEC, ACA, BNC, Miscellaneous, and W-2. For more options, expand the sections below for forms such as the 1099 form series, the 1042S, 1098, 5498, and W-2G forms, the federally tax-exempt state interest forms, 592 California forms, and recipient e-delivery import. Let's go ahead and use the 1099 NEC for this example. Once you select the form type you'd like to import, it'll be labeled above and titled above with the form that you have selected. This is a good way to know that you're in the right form type when you're importing records. The very first field is an optional field and is recommended to use a description of the import that you have in case you have multiple imports that you're doing. Secondly, you can select the filer with this drop-down list below. All the filers that you have entered already will be listed below. But if you do not have a filer and you'd like to import the filer with the recipient information, you can select Read from Import File. In that case, you'll have to have the sample import file which has both filer and form data. Once you select the filer, you can choose the file and submit to import. If you do not have your file or sample Excel spreadsheet, you can go here below and choose Sample Import File to get a sample of the data with all the headers already entered. Clicking the Sample Import File will only have form data because you will already have your filer data if you selected it here. If the filer is not already entered in your filer list, you can select Sample Import Files with both filer and form data. This will have columns on the Excel spreadsheet where you can enter the filer information as well as the form data. If you'd like to go further back and select and see what other sample files we have, the very last link is All Sample Import Files. This will take you to all the available sample files that we have, including prior years. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Sample Import File, which is going to download the specific form type and tax year that I have listed above. Okay. Now that we have the Excel spreadsheet that we downloaded, you'll see that all the fields that are on here in the very first row will have every single field available for this tax form. Since I selected the sample import file that does not have the filer information because I've already selected a filer, this will only have the form data that you're going to report for the recipient and the dollar values. You'll see that some of these have red text on here. These red text is typically the required information that you will need to import for the recipient. First name, is not highlighted in red because if you're using a company name, you'd only use the company last name field. Now, if you're doing both, as you see here, we have for individual, we have both the first name and last name entered, while the companies will only have the last name company filled out. Going to the right, you have all the box data that's on here, and they're generically titled box 1 amount, box 2 checkbox, box 4 amount, box 6 ID number, and a box 6 state. The second tab on this sample spreadsheet will have a key, and this key just gives you a little bit of notes on what these fields are, and it also has a link for each one of the fields if you want to have more specifics to that. So if you click on these links, you'll be brought over to our knowledge base site, which is the wiki form or wiki site that's going to have all the field data that you'll have for that specific fields. So in this case, I clicked on the recipient comment fields, and it's going to have the recipient TIN. The amount of characters is the max amount of characters you can enter for that, and the reason why it's 11 is because you can have 2 dashes for SSN. While the recipient account can have 20 characters, first name allows for 40, last name allows for 40, and name line 2 allows for 40, and so on. For the sample data that you have on here, this is just examples of how the form is filled out. You can use this sample sheet to just remove all the boxes that you have here, remove the rows, and then you can enter your own data on here. Once you've done that, you just fill out the fields for each one of those required fields and the box that you need to report. I'm going to go ahead and choose file that I've downloaded. We're going to go to the NEC and then click Submit. The next screen will have map form for NEC. Now, because we downloaded a sample file, all these fields have already been automatically mapped. So clicking Auto Map will just move the fields over to the correct fields that they need to move to. Now, if you have your own headers, if you, for example, use RCP TIN, but you put maybe SSN as the header, this is not going to map if you choose Auto Map. You would just grab this and then move it to the blue highlighted fields of where you just want this to go. In this case, if you had a TIN, you'll move it over to recipient's identification number. That's if you have your own TIN name. Again, because you're using a sample Excel spreadsheet, which is in my example would be much easier, you can just click on Auto Map. From here, you click Submit on the top right. And it'll tell you that 12 records were imported successfully. This dialog screen right here, or this note screen, will give you all the records that you've imported. There's records 1 through 12. And if there's any business rules or anything that looks off with your data, it'll be listed here to show you any kind of errors or warnings in case you're missing a TIN, you're missing a name, or you're missing certain fields. For example, W2, if you're missing, it will list that here for errors and warnings that you want to go ahead and fix before completing the upload. Now, if you're good and ready to go, you can go ahead and click here to add all the forms to the cart, or you can see the upload history here, which will just bring you to the import history, which can also be found on the menu bar, and it'll show you the import. Now, because I didn't fill in the optional name field, this gave it a generic number for the import. The file name of the sample Excel spreadsheet I had is on here, what form type was imported, tax year, the upload date, the status is if it's complete. We'll also have failed or canceled. 100% of that was complete, meaning no records were left behind. The number of records in there, the number that was actually imported, any invalid, which would be errors or warning, or any rejected. And rejected would be if it's missing more components that will automatically reject if you try to file that to the IRS. And these are business rules that are applied to each form. How to place an order. Once you've completed adding all your records by either manual entry with Add New Form or importing from Excel with New Import, if you click on Home on the top left menu, it'll bring you to the home screen where all your in-progress forms will be listed. In this case, there's 13 forms. Now, once you've crossed all your T's and dotted all your I's and you're ready to file your records, you can add these all to the cart with a few options. You can do bulk action, which will either select all, add selected to cart, add all to cart, or delete for those that you don't want to include. For individuals, you can go ahead and click on the little icon that's on the right hand side here with the little plus side inside the cart. This will individually add records. For those of you who've already added to the cart, the status will change to in cart. If you have multiple that you wanted to add, but not all that's listed on the screen, you can check the radio box on the left. That leaves a little blue checkbox for those, and then now you can use the bulk action to add these selected to the cart. If everything that you have here is listed is ready to go, you can use that bulk action to just add all the cart. Now that everything has been moved to cart and you see the status in cart, you can click on View Cart. From here, you can choose the service. Our services transmit to the IRS via electronic filing only. So you have two options of e-file only or e-file with printing and mailing a copy of the filed form to the recipient. There is no option for printing only. If you'd like to individually change the service for each one of the records, you can just go to the service column, select the drop-down list, and choose what service you'd like for each one of the records. Now, if you want to do that for multiple, but not all on the list, you can use the radio box on the left to check the boxes you'd like to set. Use the bulk action drop-down list above to set all to print and mail, all selected to print and mail, or set all selected to e-file only. Now, if you want all the service to be exactly the same, you can use set all to print and mail or set all to e-file, which will change everything to the same service. From here, you can do a summary report, which will give you the report of all your records, and you can have that printed out to PDF. Or a totals report, which will just give you a total of every one of the records from each filer, and for all the boxes, for this in this case, box 1, non-employee compensation, will give you the full total of that box. And you can also print page to PDF in the top right. Once you're ready to go, you can click on Secure Checkout in the top or bottom right. From here, you'll get a list, or you get prompted with a service count above. This shows I have 7 e-file only and 5 that's print, mail, and e-file, and it asks you if it's correct. If so, go ahead and click OK. Once you get to the secure checkout screen, you'll be asked for your payment information and billing address. For the billing address, all the fields in blue are required fields that need to be entered. For payment information, if you haven't already entered your credit card number, please do so now. After you've entered this and checked out, your payment information will be stored securely. So I've already clicked on Review Order, but I've gone back to payment information, just so you can see that once you've entered the credit card information, it gets stored and you'll have it available for your future checkouts. If this card expires that you have stored, or if you just want to change your credit card information, the next time you're in your cart, you can click on Change this card to enter the new credit card information. Once you have both credit card information and billing address entered, you can click on Review Your Order. This is the final stage of your checkout. Be sure to review everything in this section. Once you click on Submit and Pay, your order will be in queue to be processed. Verify the itemized forms have the correct volume and service listed. In my case, I have the NEC records here listed with the tax year and the service with e-file only, print, mail, and e-file, as well as the volume of forms and the pricing per record or unit. total amount will be on the right, and the grand total will be on this whole right section here. You do have add-on services. TIN masking will replace the first few digits of the TIN number, which is a tax ID number for the recipient, as a security measure for their privacy. This is free of charge, and you can add this to their forms once they receive it if you choose print and mail e-file. So once they get their form in the mail, the first few digits will be masked with an asterisk for their privacy. Clicking that will add TIN masking on their service, which is a free charge. TIN matching, on the other hand, is $1 per form. You will get your verifications for TINs in 24 to 48 hours back in your order history. This will check if the TIN and name is matching with the IRS records. To add this is $12. In my case, because there's 12 forms, it's $1 per form. This is, again, additional service if you would like to add. Once you click it, you'll see that now the add-on services have here, the total has changed. You have two processing options. Standard, which is the first available date to meet the IRS filing deadlines. So what this means is it will go through the standard process, as our website will scan all accounts that have forms that are ready for checkout, and we'll go on the cycle of the frequency to send to the IRS. If you'd like to have a scheduled time for this to process, let's say you do want to have these sent a week before the filing deadline for those form records that you have for those filing dates. You can use the schedule and select a date with a calendar to choose what date you would like to add or run the process and when it would start. This measurement to add here to schedule is in case you feel like you do need to make changes prior for it to be processed. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose standard. Once I'm done, I'm going to click on Submit and Pay. Once you've completed that, we'll have your order received, and you'll have your order number here that you can click, which will take you directly to that order and gives you order details. If I want to go back to that order history that I completed, on the top menu bar, I click on Order History, and I'll have that listed with the status of in process, the TIN check status, the forms, the form volume, a total. If I click on the order number, it'll have all the records that I've filed with the IRS status and the service that I've selected. And that concludes this quick start guide for eFileMyForms.com. Remember, all of this information is available in written form. Just visit our Help Center and click on Getting Started. There, you'll find a link titled Quick Start Guide. You'll find a complete walkthrough and link to this video if you need to get back to it. You are now ready to file with eFileMyForms. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact support via chat or our contact page. Thank you so much and have a wonderful filing season.